Hi loves! How are we doing today? How are we doing this week? How's everybody feeling? Hope everyone's doing alright. But today is Thursday, which means stories and theories Thursday. And if you are new to my channel, hi, I'm Ariana, Jacklyn. And on Thursdays, every Thursday, I sit down, do my makeup, and I talk about a paranormal and or scary story and or conspiracy theory that I found and I thought was really interesting, or I just really liked the story and I decided to share it with you guys. So here I am on this wonderful Thursday doing my makeup and telling you guys a scary story. And this week's scary story is a paranormal one, which I know last week's was the hitchhiker? Not the hitchhiker, what am I talking about? Where the couple went camping in the Appalachian Mountains and a dude basically tried to kill them. So kind of steering away from, something that could literally happen to every single person out there to more of a paranormal thing. So I'm going to stop blabbling and talking and actually get into this story. So this week's story takes place all the way back in 2013. So what is that? 7 years ago? Gosh. How was 2013 already almost 8 years ago? Like, how is it already almost the end of 2020? I don't know. Besides the point. But this is back in 2013. A mother and a son moved into a new apartment. Upon moving into this new apartment, the mom felt a very strange feeling, but it was also a very comforting feeling. Like, there's no real way to explain what she felt, but something kind of felt off, but it didn't feel like negative or like a bad feeling. It just kind of felt, like, when you go to a place and you have this like kind of weird feeling in your stomach about it, but it doesn't feel like bad, it just kind of feels off. This is kind of what she felt, but she also kind of felt like a comforting feeling, And so this apartment was on the bigger side. It had 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, and it had a lot of storage space. And the one weird thing that did happen prior to them moving in, so the landlord of this place never really asked the mom for, to see her credit, to see her, like, eligibility for even living in that place. She just kind of went, oh yeah, I'll let you know when, the apartment is clean and is all ready for you, and then you can move in. Like, that's all that happened, which kind of is strange if you've ever rented an apartment. But she didn't really think twice of it because she was just trying to get out of her home situation because she was living with her mother at the time. So the story starts out kind of early. They move into this apartment and they were already all kind of settled in and they had all their belongings and everything in there. And her son was I think he was about to turn 2 years old. So he was still a little baby. He was still a toddler, not really, knowing much about anything. And one day, the mom was sitting in the living room. The son was playing with his toys, or he was just playing with things in the spare bedroom because he still slept in the mom's room with her. And so she was sitting in the living room. He was in the spare bedroom playing, and she hears him laughing. Like that type of baby laugh that takes so much to get out of a baby. And she hears her son just full on laughing so hard from the spare bedroom. So she was confused because, what could be so funny to get a child to laugh that much, especially a baby? So the mom, she was very confused, as I feel like almost any parent would be, and decided to go and check up on her son, just to make sure everything was okay and nothing was, wrong with him. Bad choice of words, but you know what I mean. So she walks in and she sees her son just staring at the wall, Like, he's staring into a corner of the room, just smiling a lot and laughing his head off, basically. And he didn't even acknowledge that she was there. And most of the time with kids, if somebody walks into the room, most likely they're gonna notice, or at least sense that there's someone behind them. But he didn't notice, like, at all. He didn't turn around. He just kept looking at the corner and just laughing and smiling. But then a little bit after the mom walked in, like, probably a few seconds after, the little boy, her son, just instantly stops laughing. He instantly stops smiling. He just stops what he's doing entirely. Instantly. And almost as if he's told to, walks up to his mom and just acts like nothing happened. Acts like he wasn't just staring and laughing at, nothing. Which, for any kid, I feel like is, at least especially a 2-year-old, that's very uncommon for a child to do. So a few months later, they were both asleep in the same bed, and in the middle of the night, the mom wakes up. I should really not be trying to talk and do my eyebrows, but the mom wakes up to hear her son laughing again, like how he was when he was sitting in the corner, when he was sitting in the spare bedroom laughing at the corner. So, the mom wakes up to hear her son laughing again, and she looks over at him, and he is looking over her shoulder at the opposite side of the room, and, she's really confused because, who wouldn't be confused if they heard a toddler, laughing like that, right? And he had, like, the biggest smile on his face, too. So she was like, oh, like, honey, what's so funny? What's over there? Like, why are you laughing? Why are you smiling? Just trying to understand why he's laughing and, trying to put pieces of a puzzle together to see, what's actually going on. And the little kid, he's still laughing and everything and smiling, and he just goes, the man, mama, the man. And so, she's kind of spooked a little bit because, middle of the night, son's laughing at, he's laughing and looking into nothingness. I think anybody would be spooked by that, But then as he, tells her, like, oh, Mom, it's the man, he's still looking into the corner, but as he said that, his smile, like, vanishes and he almost looks scared a little bit. And so the mom describes that his smile kind of got, like, into, like, a scared kind of look, and he instantly put a finger over his mouth and just went, shh, no, mama, go night-night. And, like, that's all that happens. So then over the next couple weeks, there were small incidents that would happen. Boop! I can't clap. Boop! So over the next couple weeks, there would be small incidences where, he would be laughing or talking or, stuff like that, but nothing happened in the middle of the night. Again, like, kind of almost like the scary things that would probably creep anybody out. Those didn't really happen anymore. Those stopped, but everything else continued going on. Then one day, the son was sitting in the spare bedroom again, but he was having, like, a full conversation. And, the mother was obviously listening, trying to, figure out what he was talking about. But there were words that he was saying. But there were words that he was saying that, a 2-year-old wouldn't even know, like, even how to pronounce the word. And he kept saying it over and over again. There were certain words where, wouldn't really be in a 2-year-old's vocabulary. So, the mother was very concerned, as she should be. And so the son, after, he has this full-on conversation, he runs into the living room because I guess he was done playing or something. And the mom asks, oh, who are you talking to, sweetie? And the son just goes, the man, mama. And so she's like, kind of curious about his imaginary friend, or quote-unquote imaginary friend. And she asks what the man looks like. And he replies with, Bumpy. He's bumpy, mama. Like, this is his exact words. He goes, look like a monster, but not a monster, mom. He nice, he tell me jokes, he nice. And so, you know, all she thought was, okay, he's just an imaginary friend, this is all okay. You know, most kids have imaginary friends, so she wasn't too worried about anything. She didn't really think twice of anything, right? So then a few days after that incident occurred with her son, she woke up in the middle of the night to hear her neighbor, who had come home drunk, was banging on her apartment door. Not the mom's apartment door, but her neighbor was banging on their door. And, you know, just to be safe, she got up and went to go lock the door, you know, to make sure that this person, her neighbor, doesn't, you know, accidentally barge into her apartment while, you know, they're drunk and, you know, you don't know what could happen, right? So she goes up to lock the door, and this door, at least in this apartment complex, has, you know, the lock that's on the handle of the door, and then it has a deadbolt, and then it has, like, the chain lock. And she only really ever locks the handle because, you know, usually there's no need to lock the deadbolt or the chain either. And when she got up to look at the door, she realized that all 3 locks were locked. And she only ever locks the handle. But she kind of just, you know, put it aside and didn't think about it, and she just thought, oh, she probably, you know, locked it while she was asleep, or she just kind of passed it off as she was tired and she didn't remember locking the locks. So after that, the mom just brushed it off and went back to sleep. But then the next morning, her son wakes her up by screaming, you know, mama, mama, mama. And she wakes up, she's like, what's going on? Like, what do you need? Like, something going on? Because, you know, a 2-year-old screaming at you in the morning, it's always a fun situation. So she wakes up and she's like, yes, like, what's going on? What do you need? All he says is, he saved us. The man saved us from the lady. And she was really confused at first, being like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And he keeps repeating, like, oh, he saved us. The man saved us from the lady, mama. And she kind of put the pieces together and remembered the night before and kind of just brushed it off as he woke up in the middle of the night to hear, like, the lady screaming too. So, and just kind of gave all the credit to the man as to why, you know, the lady didn't end up barging into their apartment on accident. So the mom just kind of brushed it off. Before I continue on the story, I'm just gonna do my mascara off camera because trying to talk and do mascara at the same time is very weird. So I'm gonna look not a lot different, but different when I come back. So, sorry, I'm back to finish the story. Sorry about that. So it's the same day that the son woke up the mom with him yelling, like, the man saved us, yada, yada. So later that day, she was coming home from doing groceries and grocery shopping and, you know, all that fun stuff. And she was bringing in the groceries. And one of her neighbors, not the one that was banging on, like, the door last night or the one that was drunk last night, it's a different neighbor who she's never really met or anything, but she's seen around. And her neighbor, like, introduces herself. She's politely, like, introducing herself and all that fun stuff. And so the neighbor introduces herself and she's like, you know, I know this is kind of inappropriate to ask, but how much do you pay for your apartment? And the mom was like in her mind, she's like, I don't know the policies or anything or how the units are priced and stuff, because all apartment complexes have, like, different pricing rules and different, you know, things. And the mom was like, she didn't really want to say how much she pays for, but she just kind of went, like, why you ask? Like, why are you wondering? And so the lady was like, oh, well, you know, did they tell you what happened in this apartment? Like, or, like, what happened previously? And the mom's like, no, they didn't say anything. I just kind of moved in after these people, you know, left and they cleaned the apartment. Like, that's all I know. Nothing else. Like, she doesn't know anything else. So the mom's, like, kind of confused by everything. And so the neighbor explains how it was a few years back, there was a father and a son who lived in that apartment, and both had this genetic disease where you get bumps or polys, I think they're called, all over your body. And the son had ended up killing himself in the spare bedroom of the apartment that the mom and her 2-year-old son were staying in. And so the son of the father and son, the son killed himself in the spare bedroom by overdosing. And no one knew or even found out about this or, you know, saw him for a couple days. Like, nobody, you know, went to go check up on him, nothing. Like, they didn't explain how nobody noticed him for a couple days, but, like, I don't know where the father was, but, you know, nobody knows for a couple days. So this kid killed himself, and he was laying there in everything for a couple days before people found him. And she also said that it was a shame because he was always the son was always super, super sweet to her neighbor's kids, and how he'd always tell them jokes and, you know, make them smile and laugh whenever he saw them. And he would constantly say, "See, I'm not a monster, I'm nice." Connecting to that to you now. You know, how the 2-year-old boy says he's not a monster, he's nice. Connecting the dots, yeah. And so the mom felt kind of weird and odd because what her neighbor is telling her is exactly what her son would be telling her that his imaginary friend would look like, what his imaginary friend would say. How her son's imaginary friend would tell him jokes and he would constantly say he's not a monster, and how her son calls his imaginary friend, like, he's Bumpy. Like, that's how he explains his friend. So she's, like, feeling really odd and everything. But then everything slowly started making sense, and she kind of realized, like, oh, you know, this guy or this imaginary friend, or, you know, whatever you believe in, if you believe in the afterlife, if you believe in anything like that, there's always this saying where, like, little kids and toddlers and babies can see the paranormal. And so she kind of put it together as to, you know, her son was seeing this kid who overdosed and killed himself because of his genetic condition, and he's just trying to continuously make people smile and laugh and to make people see that he's not a monster. And ever since she wrote this story, multiple other occurrences have happened where doors would be locked or the son would be talking and laughing to somebody. Just more occurrences would keep happening after she put out this story, but she always felt a sense of comfort ever since she walked into the apartment, and she never understood why, but, you know, obviously now she understands why. And yeah, it was, when I read this story, I was kind of like, what's going on? Like, I was really confused in the beginning, but then once the ending, I was like, oh, no, that's some paranormal stuff. But it's not, this isn't really, I wouldn't call it a scary story. It's just kind of it's an occurrence that happens, and if you believe in the afterlife, it's all it really is. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story, and if you have anything going on, please, please, please reach out to someone, talk to somebody. My DMs are always open for you guys if you need to talk. Anything. I am here for you, and if you need anything, I will be sure to try my best and help y'all out in any way I can. But I hope you guys enjoyed this week's story time. And if you did, please be sure to like and comment down below any other stories you guys want me to talk about, any other topics you want to hear me talk about, or stories. Basically just anything. Just put it down in the comments. And if you are new, please be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and ring the bell, because I am here for you every Thursday with a new story and or theory. And I will see you guys next Thursday. I love you guys so much. Bye!